Hi everyone, welcome back to No Sugar with Everything Krause. No sugar, no
sugarista,
no sugar mama.
It's so crazy how off I am when I sing with you.
Oh, I thought we sounded better when towards the end.
Oh, I was like literally, I'm gonna mute my notifications. Sorry if you heard that. It sounded like I was literally like really behind you. Maybe my computer's just lagging.
Or maybe it's mine.
Potentially.
Mine could be on a different. Because sometimes when I use the recording service we use on an iMac, it's like matched up perfectly when the people are talking and like I'm producing a show. When I do it with my laptop, I'm like a second behind, and I've noticed because like I've produced a show that Dad's recording, so I'll hear him finish talking but my computer is still talking.
Oh.
Oh, a little bird outside my window. Hey birdie.
Hello,
I'll
birdie.
take care of you, birdie.
Hello, birdie.
Tyler, I hope you hear that. I'll take care of you, birdie.
Oh, what does that mean?
It's like this thing on Instagram.
You and Julia have just like, you said that all of Charleston. I was like,
I'll take care of you, birdie. I don't know. It's like the weirdest video. I think it's like a children's show. I don't know if it's like a YouTube show or I don't know what it is, but it's like these stuffed animals. And it's like a little bird, and then like this other thing that looks like he's from like Sesame Street. And it's like the little birdie like chirp, chirp, and he's like, I'll take care of you, birdie.
Oh, so like Instagram made it like a relationship thing?
I don't even know if it's a relationship thing or like we've just like taken it to an extreme, but me and Julia
Tyler Kateri will take care of you. Moral of the story.
Yeah. Or you take care of me, bitch.
Yeah, please.
But it's funny because like when Tyler first sent it to me, I was like, I hate that one. Like, don't send me that anymore. And then once Julia said it, I was like, oh my God, you know Birdie? And now I have like a new appreciation for it.
Yeah, you do. That's funny.
Like Mom the other day was like really tired. And I'm like, I'll take care of you, Birdie. All right, I gotta stop.
I know. Please stop saying it. I'm like looking at you like... For someone who doesn't have a close
title of this
relationship
episode. Yeah. Title of the episode. I'll take care of you, Birdie.
Like, that's what I want to start doing though, because let us know, listeners, if you know the podcast The Toast. They make their their titles for the episodes one line that potentially came up within their episode, and Gatiri and I think of so many one-liners that would be just a good title like that. And I'm so tempted to do it, but I also feel like we're a different podcast from them, where like
I know.
they have the same idea every single episode of like fast five stories and then like banter versus us as like a topic. So yeah. I don't know if it would work, but
I feel like we could do it in a way that's like funny, not always like funny, but just like random about the topic. But I do think our concepts are too different to be able to use their exact logic, because exactly like you said, like you know what you're going to get from their episodes. You don't really know what you're going to get from us in terms of topic ideas. So I don't know. Sorry,
food for thought.
Yeah, food for thought for sure. Today, I think we both just really want to have a very open and honest conversation. I feel like we do say that a lot because all of our conversations are so open and honest, but this one in particular feels like something I need to just get off my chest in a sense. I don't know. We've both been kind of struggling coming up with topic ideas. I feel like for the podcast, like we're like, why is our mind just blank? And I said to Isabel today before we started recording, I feel like one of those reasons is because I don't feel like 100% in my life right now. So anything that I'm doing isn't translating to something I want to talk about almost. I don't know if that makes sense. So basically what we want to talk about today is kind of like that feeling of not feeling 100% and being okay with it, but also like what are some steps that we can take personally. For me, like my life is different than Isabel's, so my steps might look different, but maybe like how are we going to try and turn around this like feeling of plateau or this feeling of like regression backwards? How are we going to take it and handle it in a way that progresses us forward and drives more growth and maturity and just, you know, like that leveling up mindset? Because like we've talked about before, you're going to have setbacks on your growth journey. And I feel like I'm for sure in a step back right now. And I can definitely, you know, admit to that and address that wholeheartedly, because that is, I know it for sure. I feel it within myself.
I 100% feel it as well. So that's why I think we also wanted to bring it because I think both of us are really in this position right now, which is super interesting because I feel like coming off of fall, I was so in that like rapid growth. I couldn't even believe my eyes. I was so proud of myself, but also just like, damn, like you are accelerating and leveling up every single day. And going from feeling like 1% better every day to feeling like literally stagnant or like I'm not even being better each day is a really weird feeling to sit with and deal with. So that's why I'm happy that you are experiencing it too, because you have been my outlet for it. But it's a lot. Like it's, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to pinpoint like what exactly we mean, but so I'll give kind of some examples of like what I'm feeling that's leading me to feeling like I'm not progressing forward. So, and honestly, I feel like this is a therapy session because as you were talking, I was just thinking, I think one of my biggest issues is I've never fully allowed myself to recognize growth while living at home. So here I am living at home again, and I'm not seeing any areas of growth for me. Like, if I could really nitpick, I could find areas, but I think I'm being so hard on myself because we're just in winter. Winter is like hibernation season, and this winter hit me more more intensely, I feel like, in that hibernation mindset.
Yeah.
So I'm really just looking at that overarching season as like, what did you do to get better? And how are you improving your life, right? So like, that is something that I need to personally work on is like, okay, yes, I don't care that this is your childhood home. Like, grow up, grow a pair, and just like start doing things that make you feel good. Stop using the excuse of like, oh, you live at home, you're not growing here. Like, that's so not true. And so one, I just need to like recognize that like I have grown here, but it maybe takes a little bit more effort because I'm not alone. So it just like needed to address that. And another, I think, reason that I'm feeling this way is because I feel like I haven't like thought about my goals recently and I haven't like jotted them down. I haven't been praying as much or like really enjoying my prayer. I almost like put my head on the pillow at night and I'm like quickly saying a prayer because immediately it's so funny when I don't pray during the day. As soon as I like roll over and put my head on the pillow to close my eyes and go to bed, I think about, oh, you didn't pray. And I literally just feel like it's God like coming in my head being like, what are you forgetting today?
Yeah.
And I know not everyone who listens is religious, but like prayer for me is almost like my form of meditation. It's my form of talking out all the thoughts in my head, which I feel like helps me have a clear vision on my life. And lacking that is feeling like my goals, my visions, the things I want in my future are all kind of like jumbled in my mind. And I don't have a clear vision. And it's holding me back from feeling confident in my future almost.
Yeah. I have so many thoughts on what you just said. So I'm going to run through some.
Because I went through 27.
But you just went, yeah, but that was perfectly articulated, Kateri, how you're feeling. I'm very impressed because I can't seem to put into words how I'm feeling. And I like how you just did. So I'm going to touch on them because the thoughts are there. So I can't let them slip. In regards to the prayer, something that I've recognized, because I completely resonate with you on that, in a sense where like I am praying, but I'm just not enjoying the prayer. Like normally it is meditative for me, and I'm finding recently that I'm super resistant to it. I'm super, I don't feel like praying right now, which is to me a really shitty feeling to feel and makes me feel like a terrible person because I am so grateful for everything that God gave me and is giving me. And it's not that I think he's like mad at me, but I feel so close to him that I feel guilty when I don't pray for my own sake. Cause I'm like, how dare I not talk to you every day? But my point of this is that resistance that I'm feeling towards praying, I feel like is because I'm not feeling 100% in life, that when I'm going to talk to God, I'm like, I don't want to like deal with all of these like emotions of not feeling 100%. Like you said, you're not focusing on your goals. Normally I feel like I go to God and I'm like, oh, I'm doing this, this, and this, like help me navigate this. And I feel like right now we both feel so stagnant that when we go to pray, it like just is even like making us sit more in that stagnant feeling. Like I'm just like, all right, this is a reminder that I have nothing to talk to you about, God, because I don't feel like I'm accelerating in life. Versus like in the fall, I felt like I was growing every day so much that when I went to him, I like had so much to talk through. And I'm like, why is my mind blank? Like it correlates to the podcast episode. Like, why do I have no thoughts on growth or anything in my life right now? And you guys know me. I'm a thinker.
Exactly. And I think the fear of staying stagnant for too long weighs on both of us very heavy. Like I feel myself in this stagnant state. And I think if I sat down and like looked back on the past year of my life, last like 6 months of my life, like I could probably pinpoint maybe when I started feeling like this and what led me to feel like this. But it's that feeling of being stagnant for too long that really scares me. But I'm starting to really look at it as like, okay, that's a good like fear to have then, because you won't stay here long if you are so scared of staying there too long. Do you know what I mean? Like
most people don't even recognize that they're scared that they're going to stay in this position. They just don't even know that they're in that position of being stagnant.
Yeah. And I don't really know what happened. Well, I kind of do, and I'll explain, but I dropped Iswa off at school yesterday and I was driving home and I just I went through like my like songs and I just hit shuffle because I was like, I don't feel like listening to a podcast. I was driving a lot that day, so I like listened to too many podcasts. And the song, wait, hold on. But the song Since I Was Broke by Russ came on, and Russ isn't for everyone. His music is not for everyone, but like his lyrics in his songs are super intentional. And I listened to him on Jay Shetty's podcast before, and I love him even more because he comes from a place of like full intention. Like the lyrics he's using are truly what he's using to guide his life. Anyway, he was talking about how he was saying he's been rich since he was broke, and how it's a state of mind that you really have to like feel and know. And I was like, not even about like the money aspect, but in all aspects, I am not feeling like that. My state of mind is not feeling successful, is not feeling confident, is not feeling motivated. Like I'm not feeling that driven feeling inside of me. And I feel like my life is where it is right now, or staying stagnant where it is right now, because of the feelings in my mind. And when he said it, it was just like, you know, it's a little song, like you guys will listen and probably like laugh when you hear it, but like this is what really triggered this for me.
But it's a
like,
thought.
It is. And like when I heard him say that, I was like, dude, it's so true. Everyone will always say like you really have to feel what you want before you have it. And I have these goals like for my fitness career, and I have all these things in my mind that I want to do, but I have yet to put them pen to paper. And to me, it's like, why not just write that down? Like, why not just remember what your goal is, right?
Yeah.
Like, look at the goal, see it, visualize it every single day. And it takes 2 seconds to write down that goal. So why am I not doing it? And I don't know, like, just hearing him say that in the lyrics, I was like, you know what? I need to, from here on out, I'm going to be 1% better every single day. If it is the littlest thing I change, I'm going to do it. If I have to force myself to pick up a pen and write down one goal, like I'm going to do it until I start to feel better, because I'm not living like this stagnant life anymore. Like I woke up today and felt like in a new headspace about how I was going to try and tackle feeling better, really.
So it's super interesting, that lyric, actually, because it does run really deep, because it really is a state of mind. Like even hearing you say like, oh, I feel stagnant, like that is why your life is so stagnant, because you're waking up every morning with the thought immediately that you are in the same place. And it's so true. Like when I feel confident, or like I feel like I'm the shit, I literally wake up every day and like, what do I tell myself? I tell myself I'm the shit. And recently, I think the biggest thing for me has been not feeling confident. That's what I would pinpoint down for me, is like I haven't been, it's not that I walk around campus and like walk around Philly like feeling like the shit. It's not that. I'm just always proud of who I am, and I always feel like I'm growing and accelerating. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good in life. Recently I've been walking around and like I haven't been feeling like the shit. I literally have felt like I lost all confidence. And hearing that lyric, I'm like, that's what I'm embodying. Like I'm approaching every day as like, oh, like I'm literally not the shit. This is so annoying.
And you're telling yourself that.
Yeah, I'm projecting that, and then I'm making myself feel that way. So then when I go outside today and go on my walk, like I'm hiding, or I'm not like embracing and like smiling at people, because I'm just like, oh, I'm so insecure.
Yeah, like your shoulders are a little more drooped. Yeah. You're not standing. Like all that kind of, it really does matter for sure.
Yeah. And it's just crazy to hear that like what you really do think is what you end up embodying and living out. And I've noticed that is really the problem lately. I think I've just been so in my head of, oh, you are so stagnant, you are so insecure, like you're not confident right now, you're not winning. And I'm literally making that future for me. So like if I want to change it, like I need to wake up tomorrow and be like, no, I'm confident in who I am. Like you own yourself as well. Like you're dope.
Exactly.
So that's just a reflection on that.
And kind of like I said, like I'm I'm using this idea that I'm still living at home as the reason I can't make progress on my life. And that is it's the most laughable excuse I've ever heard in my life. Like saying it out loud, I'm like embarrassed to say because no, it's all in here. It is in my head. It is under my control. No other environment. Like, I'm not going to all of a sudden move out of this house and my life is going to be changed forever. There's going to be way more complications that'll come when I leave the home that are going to send me into another spiral, a different spiral, if I don't like handle myself now. So I'm using this excuse, but it's literally on me and it's in my control. And sometimes like all you have to start changing is your thoughts. Like you don't have to look at it as, oh, I have to take these giant actions to change my life right now. The action can just be thinking something a little bit more positive. Think like maybe, like I said, writing down the goal. Like that is something for me. I don't know why like this goal setting is really, it's like sitting with me, right? Like it's feeling like that's kind of in alignment with me. And maybe it's just because I know the power behind it. And when I used to write down my goals, like they happened.
Yeah.
And I haven't been doing that. And it was something that made me feel good and I could like always hold on to, and I didn't continue it. So it's just something like little like that you could change. Any listeners that might be feeling this way in any area of their life or in like the overarching area of life, it doesn't have to be a monumental action to make this change. You can just, have that mindset shift, recognize that like, okay, you're not feeling good where you're at. And then what can you do tomorrow morning or tonight before you go to bed? What can you tell yourself that's going to make you feel good? And like tell yourself it over and over again until you fall asleep.
Well, and you're right, Kateri. Like it may not be goal setting for everyone, but in this instance, that is something that made you feel really good. So like that's something. It's great to recognize like what in the past was I doing that I'm not doing anymore that could potentially be causing this difference in feelings. Let's try that first. Like it's a work in progress of trying to get back on that path of like feeling really good, and yes, change your thoughts, but it's really good to reflect on an area in your life where you did feel on top of the world and what's something in that moment that you were doing. So it's really good advice just in general. Like everyone should be reflecting like what's something that I'm not doing right now. It may not be goal setting, but what was I doing in the fall that I'm not doing now? That's throwing me for a loop.
Yeah.
And I also just want to add that was so apparently like you are literally growing in this episode, because it was so apparent to me your growth when you were talking about home. Realizing that home is not the problem is such a mindset shift, because I feel like if you never experience this feeling of being stagnant at home, you wouldn't know that it's like different environments are going to make you feel different ways. So like now you're going to master like, okay, like I grew on my own alone in Naples. That felt really good. Now I'm home. Now I have to figure out how to grow at home. That's how life is. Like you can't just grow in one area and then, not be able to grow in any other. So I feel like it's really good that you're recognizing like, okay, now I'm home. I'm feeling this way. How can I grow at home for me? Because I'm thinking even myself, like leaving Drexel, like the reason I feel so much growth here is because I am so alone. So like what's going to happen when I move out of this apartment? Is my growth just going to stop? That's something I'm going to have to navigate because it's a new environment. And that's just a realization. I feel like we always think like we don't recognize that our environment may be fostering the growth as well. And it may be easy to grow in certain environments and harder to grow in others. And that's okay. But recognizing that is so important.
Exactly. And your environment does play such a huge role in your life. Like if you don't like your environment, it could be hindering you, but that is not the case with the environment that I am in. So I'm very grateful for that, because I can't use that as like my environment's not holding me back in any way, shape, or form. So hopefully I, can work through this, and then when it's your turn to either move home or just move to a different place, I can kind of guide you. You can come back and listen to this episode.
Yeah.
But kind of like you said, like I didn't have that realization about home not being the problem until this very second in this episode.
Yeah.
Like literally recording this made me realize home is not the problem. Like you are. Your mindset is the problem right now. Like your mind is playing tricks on you, and you're in control of those thoughts. So it's up to you to change it around. And exactly like you said, oh, I have like all these ideas of Naples, and then I came home and I'm like, well, I can't do the same thing. I feel like I was putting so much pressure on like the two different environments, but eventually I'm going to be in another environment that's not Naples and that's not home. It's going to be another one. Like I'm not going to live in Naples again. I'm not going to live here for the rest of my life. So what's going to happen when I'm in a new place, and how can I adjust? I also think another thing that I was harping on for a while, and I briefly listened to that girl Mimi Bouchard. Is that her name? Have you heard of her? I don't know. Her name's Mimi, and she was recently on the Skinny Confidential podcast.
Oh, okay. Moocher? Mimi
Yeah.
Moocher?
It's like B-O-U.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of Romeo Beckham's ex-girlfriend.
Oh, no, I don't think that's her. Anyway, she has a podcast herself. I literally listened to like the first 5 minutes of this episode, so I can't say too much on what else she said. But one of the things she said was what has changed most about her in the past like 2 years was her reliance on routine versus just relying on her mindset. So she used to hyper focus on her routines and the habits she had every day and put so much emphasis on like that being the key to success. And she's like, now the key to success for me is like truly the mindset that I'm having, the thoughts that I'm having, the feelings that I'm having around what I want. Like I truly try to embody what I want. I try to embody it in a feeling before I have it. And it was just kind of crazy to me because I was like, one of the things I feel like I've mentioned it so many times on this podcast is, oh, I'm not doing the same routines that I was doing when I lived alone in Florida. I'm not doing that here. So therefore I cannot be successful here because I haven't found a way to have a good morning routine, a good night routine. And it's not the same exact thing that I was doing in Florida. And that's okay. Like my routine looks different here because I'm in a different place.
Yeah.
And using the routines and I do think they're crucial and they're very important to have, but putting all the pressure on them to be like the key to your success is, it's not fair. Like it doesn't need to be that way.
You're literally taking the thoughts out of my head. Like what I was thinking when you were like, before you even said all that is what I was thinking, because it's hard when you put all of your success on a routine. It's unsustainable because the reality of life is that you're not going to be able to fulfill that routine every single day for the rest of your life. Like life changes. You're going to have a new husband, you're going to have kids. Like, so if that is your metric of success, you are setting yourself up for failure because there's going to be one day where you don't achieve that routine. And if that's going to make you feel like you lost that day, that's wrong. Like that's not how you should be feeling. It's about the mindset. It's like, okay, I didn't achieve everything on this list today. What did I achieve? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like that little shift of, which I struggle with as well because I'm very hard on myself, of being okay with difference. I feel like is the key here. Like we are struggling with different environments, different changes in our routine. And when these changes are happening, we now don't feel like we're winning anymore. Road break.
Sponsor us.
Fuck, I wish I remembered that.
This
line.
episode's gonna be sponsored by Road. Manifesting.
It will
Feeling
be.
it. Feeling the goal.
I just looked at the screen and realized my eyes were literally like closed looking at you. I was like,
She's tired, boss.
I literally am tired. You're going to be tired today. Katia ran 8 miles this morning. Just wait until that hits you.
I'm gonna be. Shawty, I am.
I know, but I had my 6 to 10 class the morning I ran 8 miles. I had my 6 to 10 class that night. I legitimately was in the class and I was like, not like, oh, I'm tired. I was like fatigued, like leaned over the chair. Like I cannot pay attention, professor. Like I need coffee. I literally brought a coffee to class at night.
Yeah.
You know me. I like don't have coffee that late either. I was like, dude, I need something to wake me up. I'm going to pass out in this class. My body.
No.
I couldn't even walk to class. I was literally like, this is so hard.
I know for a fact I'm gonna have a coffee and a matcha today because I'm teaching tonight too. So I'm like,
Double.
I gotta like amp it up a little bit, but for sure, running like really takes it out of you.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Maybe that's concerning. Maybe we shouldn't be getting as fatigued as we are. That's a topic for another day. I can't concern myself with that right now. I literally can't. Like I can't worry about that.
Listen, ladies and gents. This episode is already making me feel better. I feel confident.
I do too. I think like I kind of said in the beginning, I need to like get all this off my chest and almost talk about it in this candid conversation with you, knowing that people were going to listen to it so that I could be like fully honest and just upfront with myself because I'm not one to like always pick up a journal and like write down my thoughts. And sometimes when I have like you to answer me, I can have these better conversations with myself and like come full circle with the things that are going on in my mind. So that's why I literally said to Isabel, I'm like, I almost feel like we have to have this conversation because we cannot move on. We cannot get out of this stagnant phase without addressing it to each other and then to our listeners, because we can't hide once we put it out there. Like once it's out on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, like people are going to be able to listen to us and they're going to hear us say these words. So I got to just like go in full force with it. And I'm literally feeling better. Like I can't wait to go write down my goals.
I need to add something though, because I'm literally already feeling a setback
Within
this, because I'm even just sitting here thinking right now, and like you guys didn't hear this part because we cut it out of the episode, but I said to Kateri, like, I feel like I'm adding nothing to this episode. I feel like I'm not giving you anything to bounce off of. Like my thoughts aren't there. And that is what I'm realizing like right now in this moment is a big problem for me. I feel like in this stagnant feeling is not only do I feel stagnant, but I feel so not shitty about myself, but so like I normally feel so high value. I know that sounds so weird, but I feel so like high frequency, high value, like operating at a very high level. And I feel like recently my thoughts have really slowed, and maybe it's because I'm putting them out there. Like I'm embodying this, like we've been talking about, embodying this like insecure, like not confident, I'm not winning mindset, and it's slowing down my thoughts, and I'm not having these higher frequency thoughts. And that is purely what fuels me, is like my thinking. Like I get so excited when I think so deeply about something, and I'm like, man, as well, like you're the shit. Like I can't believe you think that way. Truly, like I'm so grateful for my mind. It's probably my favorite thing about me. And recently I think my mind hasn't been showing up for me, or I haven't been like feeling that it is, and I haven't been having these high level thoughts or feeling so good about what I added to the podcast episode that is just making me like feel like shit too. I just needed to share that because that was literally a realization I had right now, because I was like, oh, like my thoughts are so low level these days. But
and I do
are
think
they, or am I putting that out there and then shutting off my mind from even having higher frequency thoughts because I'm convincing myself that I can't think that way anymore?
I think it's exactly that. And I also think it's a domino effect of like, okay, you're not feeling confident and high value in other areas of your life. Therefore, it's leading to you feeling like you're not having valuable conversations, valuable thoughts, like valuable statements. It's all kind of leading to that as well, because when you don't feel confident, which we both kind of just admitted, we aren't feeling the most confident in ourselves these days. Lack of confidence is literally going to affect, I truly believe, every single area of your life.
Yeah.
Like it'll find its way into every area, and it'll show up in unexpected ways. Like when we record and you make that statement, because in my mind, like I go to and I edit the episode after we record, and I'm like, wow, Isabel said some amazing things. Like that is truly what's going on in my mind. And so it's funny when you say that to me, I'm like, well, that's so not true, because everything you said is amazing to me. Like it has helped me come to these realizations, and I know our listeners appreciate it. So it's truly just like a mental block on your end, but I don't think it's like without reason. Like I think there's reasons that that's happening, and once we both kind of get out of this whole like stagnant phase and we start talking more confidently and we start kind of embodying that and making changes to level up our lives, like you won't feel that way.
You're right.
You know, like I
kind
do
of
think
like
it just is all intertwined with each other.
Yeah. I feel like this is like a perfect example of like focus. This has been like my motto recently, like focus on the good and the good gets better. And recently I've been feeling flipped lately. Like I've been catching myself focusing on like the negative of this instead of being like, this was a great conversation. I focused on how I felt. I didn't add to it. And what is that making me feel? It's making me feel worse. And I'm like, wait, I'm focusing on the bad and it's getting even worse. Versus if I approach this episode as like, that was a great episode, I wouldn't even be having these thoughts about my thoughts. And I'm just feeling, sorry, that's another revelation I'm having right now of like, that's kind of been my motto of like, you really have to focus on the good and it will get better. But when you see the bad, that's all you are going to see. And I feel like that's a big part of what needs to shift for us to get out of this hole as well.
Exactly. And like the point of me saying make one change in the thoughts or anything, like you said, okay, maybe you don't finish your entire to-do list that day. Instead of nitpicking the things that you didn't finish, focus on the good and remind yourself of everything you did get done for the day. Or even if it's like just remind yourself of like the one thought that went through your mind that was a positive thought, or like the one goal you wrote down, the one action that you took for yourself to feel better. Like you have to focus yourselves on those positive things, because that'll in turn create this whole positive aura, and then like you said, you focus on the good gets better, so you'll start seeing good in every area of your life. And like we've talked about that in many episodes, the gratitude effect, all of that, like it is so true. And I want to get myself back into that feeling. Like when we recorded the gratitude effect episode, we were so high on life after that episode because we truly felt like deep in our bones so passionately about that topic.
Yeah.
And I'm still such a grateful person in all areas of my life, but I haven't been picking out the gratitude. I haven't been focusing on the good as much anymore. So like I probably wouldn't have the same passion behind that topic right in this very moment as I did when we recorded it.
That's super interesting because I do feel like the difference between that episode and now is so apparent in like our levels. Like I feel like we went into that episode and we're like bam, 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 bam. And I feel like we're running so dry on topics right now because we're embodying this stagnant feeling. I don't know. It's just I'm having so many revelations on this episode. Like it's crazy that you just brought up the gratitude effect episode because that episode really was so powerful to me. And like I thought it was literally like, our best episode, and it's really no different than any other episode that we push out. So
it was just really like the feeling that we had behind it that really made us like feel so good and confident in it. And it comes down to that feeling, like we felt that. So I feel like the episode performed well because we had those feelings and we portrayed that feeling so open and honestly on it that like people appreciated that as well. So this is also a reminder that we have a lot of good past episodes as well. Like obviously we're going to keep going here, so there's just going to more episodes are going to pile on, but if you're struggling in certain areas, like our titles do really explain what the episode's going to be about, so go listen to that, and maybe after that that'll be a good thing to listen to, and you can, you know, pull that gratitude effect into your life, because maybe that's what some people need is more gratitude. They need to focus on the good, and maybe that's the one thing that they need to change this stagnant feeling around, you know, for the foreseeable future.
I also want to note that if you are feeling this way, I used to think about it as like I used to get really sad about the setback, and I'd be like, oh my god, I had all this growth, I grew so much in the fall, and I'm so upset that I'm not feeling that way anymore. Like, why am I back to square one? Wrong. So unbelievably wrong. I'm not at square one. I'm actually 10 miles ahead of square one, because now that I do have to get back into this and like figure out how to get out of the stagnant phase, I'm a lot further than when I was starting at square one in the fall. Like I don't have to go through all of that growth. I'm not starting at square one again. That's just what I'm trying to emphasize. It's like you're starting 10 miles ahead and you're just now on the next phase of your growth journey. And I feel like we think that we are being literally set back, and it's not a setback at all. Like it's such a negative word. It's such a beautiful opportunity to grow more. That's really how we should be thinking about it, is like, if we weren't stagnant, Kateri, if we weren't feeling these, like I wouldn't have any areas to pursue growth in right now. So like this is great that this is now the next thing I can work on to improve myself.
Exactly. I'm very grateful for this stagnant phase, or like that feeling of being stagnant, and being able to recognize it, because now I know that as long as I'm showing up each and every day, it's only up from here for the foreseeable future. I keep saying that because like we always say, a year from now, even a month from now, we could go back to this feeling. But that's why you have to keep showing up for yourself each and every day. And not every day is going to have the biggest amount of growth. And one week you might kind of bounce back a little bit. But being able to pull yourself out of that, and like you said, appreciate the setbacks as a good thing and look at it as like an opportunity as opposed to such a negative thing. I know that word setback has like a negative connotation around it, but using it to like flip your mindset of being like, okay, look, we have another opportunity ahead of us. Let's use it to our advantage here.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen the next couple months, knowing that we're both diving into making this change, because, you know, me and Azul do a lot together. So if we're both on the same wave of like, I am not going to be like how I am today anymore, like it's only going to get better and more opportunities are going to rise. We're going to just see things more clearly for our future. So I can't wait. Like now I'm very excited for this week and the upcoming months, because I know it's going to be better than the last month or two, however long it's been.
See, I'm not feeling that way yet. Like I don't feel that from this episode.
Okay.
I still feel in this. No, I know. I'm being honest right now. Like I still feel in this weird phase, and maybe it's because I haven't thought through enough what is making me feel this way. Like you kind of pinpointed like those two areas for you. And I just don't, that's really the crux for me, is I don't know why I don't feel as confident, because I am doing everything that I was doing. So I'm like, but I don't know.
then
I don't
maybe
know,
it's just your mind holding you back because you're not
Yeah.
necessarily,
I'm seeing
you
the
didn't
bad. Maybe that's just
yeah,
the
like
change I need to make.
yeah, like you didn't stop going to the gym, you didn't stop eating healthy, you didn't stop working hard at school. Like you are doing the same things. I think just life has gone like, life has progressed as it does, and maybe you're just harping on like, okay, I felt the growth in the fall, right? But you felt it at a bigger like magnitude because there was bigger growth to be had in that moment.
Yeah.
So
So true.
it could get smaller as time goes on because there's less areas to grow in, or there's not as big steps to take. That doesn't mean you're not still growing and you're not still changing. It just means it doesn't feel as monumental. And if you get like hooked on that, like that adrenaline, that really good endorphin feeling of like that monumental growth, you won't be able to look at any other like time in your life as
Yeah.
good as that. And it's like the
You're
same thing
so
with me in
right.
Naples. Like it's hard for me to look at this time as good as that, but they're two different things. You can't compare what they did for you.
You're so right. That's what I needed to hear. Thank God I said that.
So you
Okay,
just have
can
to
I
like get it out. Like that's all
literally,
it
that's
is.
why I
Like,
feel like I needed to be honest right there, because I was like, wait, this is literally weighing on me during the episode that I don't feel this excitement that you're feeling. And now I literally do, because I'm like, wait, I already know what I'm going to do, like for my future. So reflecting on what you just said, Gatiri, I feel like for a person like me, I'm a person who needs action in order to change my thoughts. Like I need to show up in one way for myself to be able to be like, okay, like that's how to see the good. Like I had a really good prayer today, like see the good. Versus if I didn't have that prayer, it'd be very hard for me to just like switch that mindset. So if you are like me and you do feel like you need an action, you just may have to like pinpoint one really tiny thing that is going to make you feel like you did win and take it from there. Like I'm already saying, just an example for me, guys, so you know how like small it is. One thing that I've recognized that as I've drifted into this stagnant feeling, what went along with it was my thought of the days. And it's so like apparent to me, like, wow, like I literally wasn't confident in my thinking and my high level thoughts. I stopped posting my thought of the days on Instagram. And if I have to start forcing myself to just keep posting them, even if I don't feel like they're high level thoughts, like if I just have to keep posting them until I feel again that like I'm embodying that lifestyle, that may have to be the fix for me. And I'm just realizing like it may need to be a physical action for some people, and it could be as small as literally posting my thought of the day on Instagram that changes this around for me. And like makes me feel like, oh, like I had a high level thought today. Like that makes it easier for me to see the good within my day because I can see the action that I actually took.
that's a great idea. That's really good. I think that I'm going to hold you accountable on that because I do think, like I said, it's domino effect. So you weren't feeling confident or valuable thoughts. Therefore, you stopped posting those thoughts as often because you were like, what am I offering? Right. And imagine if you could just change that around for yourself.
Exactly.
Like what that could do for you. And that just goes to show you it's like little things. Like that's something so personal to Isabel, but it's a little action that she can take every day. Me with the goal writing, like for me, it feels like if I could just take the action to write down 3 goals every single day, even if they're the same 3 goals every single day, like I know I will feel better because I'll be visualizing, I'll be doing what I want to do, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I just think it's important, like Isabel said, pinpoint like one little action that you can take that will make you feel better. And that action might change each and every day, or it could be, the same throughout your week. But find something that's going to make you feel good. And it might not be anything that we would do. You might do something similar to us. It has to be something that you feel good about because your life is your own and it's not going to be exactly the same as ours and what we're saying.
Exactly. So love that.
Yeah, my stomach is rumbling.
Same.
Starving.
This was a therapy session.
I'm starving, Marvin.
I just need to know for the listeners who are watching on YouTube, I don't know why my hair just like shoots straight down like this.
It's just because you let it air dry.
I look so weird. Nope, that's a negative thought. I am great. I just think it's also because I beef tallied before my makeup today.
Yeah, so it's like sticking.
So it's sticking, and I think it's making it like, I don't know, but that's why I literally keep going like this if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, it is hard doing like a video recording. Like I heard people talking about like I hate Zoom because I feel like all I do is look at myself and like I like critique myself while like other people are talking, and that's almost like kind of what we're on is basically Zoom. It's the same concept.
But I do look at you.
Do you hear that noise?
Yeah, I thought, is that outside my apartment or is that you?
I don't know. As long as it's outside and not the mics.
No, it literally sounds like a trash truck.
Okay, it's fine. Listeners, if you hear that, it's trash truck. But no, like literally, I like look at you, but I also look at myself, and then I'll like pick apart that my hair's in this slick back thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's just the way of video recording. Like when we're in person and we have the camera in front of us and you can't see ourselves, like we don't think about our hair.
I literally don't think about it at all. And then I end up looking at the episode and I'm like, oh my God, I look great in this episode.
Exactly. And we did not have the chance to look at our hair. All we could do was like look at each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just when you have yourself in front of you, it's really easy to be like, wait, what is going on over there? Ooh. All right. So we put Isabel to sleep today. Got a blast. No, seriously though, like we have to wrap this up because I feel like my stomach's eating itself.
Same, dude. I'm literally dying for my coffee and chicken sausage, avocado, and eggs. Oh, yeah. Not even.
No, I'm excited.
I feel like that's also, I'm stagnant in my breakfast. Like I need change.
You do.
I need change. Like I've been eating chicken sausage, avocado, and eggs since September 21st. Legitimately.
It's been a while.
It's been a while of that in my life. Like I haven't had the sourdough fun.
But I think for today, for your time purposes, you should stick with what you know. And
no, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm definitely not straying away. And you know what I'm gonna do to add some spice to it? I got some pomegranate last night from Trader Joe's. Yeah. Like the pomegranate seeds. So I'm going to have that little container.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we hope that you guys were able to appreciate this conversation for what it was. I hope that you really recognize like how open and honest we both were. I don't want to hold anything back when it comes to our no sugar community. I really truly believe that you guys deserve to know like everything that's going on in our minds almost. Maybe that's a bad feeling to have, but like that's how I feel.
No, that's great, because that's what the point of this podcast is. If we weren't willing to be this open and honest, then we would be hiding behind a mask and not showing them the true journey. And like this is the true journey of growing through life.
Exactly. And it was really the reason we wanted to start this podcast, to show that like life isn't perfect. You're gonna have ups and downs, and we are recognizing that we're having a down and wanted to address it with you guys. So if you are feeling this way, just know that it pinpoint it and it can only go up from here. If you address it with yourself, your journey is just going to go up for it's just going to go up from here. So just remind yourself of that. It doesn't need to be like a negative thing. It doesn't need to be a bad thing that like you're in this phase of life. Like look at it as a good thing. I know we kind of are at this point. Like I'm ready to look at it as a good thing and move on from here and not bring this up to you guys for I don't know how long. You know, like I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to keep saying I'm not feeling 100%. Like I'm over having this conversation and I'm over fearing my future because I'm not taking action now. So fear can be a really good fire under the butt.
It really can be. I was gonna say.
So Isabel, why don't you end it and tell them what the heck to do today? What should they do?
I will tell you guys what the heck to do. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, interact with us. Please share this episode with a friend. Share it to your mom, your dad, your brother, whoever needs to hear this, whoever is in a rut. If you're in a rut, take a listen. Spread the word of no sugar. We truly are just trying to grow our community and make you guys better one day at a time, one episode at a time. So please help us grow as well. And as always, we appreciate all of your support and love, and happy No Sugar Tuesday.
But No Sugar Tuesday, I'll give you a little hint as to what one of my goals are that I'm going to write down today. 1,000 subscribers on No Sugar YouTube. Help me reach that goal, please.
That'd be great. Help Katira get out of her rut. You are responsible, everyone.
I'm using you. No longer my home. I'm using you, listeners. Anyway, we hope you have an amazing rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you next time.